Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun on Tuesday, that was August 6, stated that no protester was subjected to excessive force by the police, military, or other security agencies that were involved in the management of the bad governance demonstration. And he said this at a meeting of security agencies heads in Abuja. He also added the military and police did not use live ammunition during the protest. He said in his words, and I quote, the police and the military and indeed no other security agency involved in the management of this protest has deployed excessive use of force. Instead, what we had were attacks on security agents during the protest. From our record, there were no shooting incidents by the police. The police or military did not use any live ammunition in the management of this protest. Instead, we have had cases where our officers were injured and are in critical conditions as we speak. I will dismiss that as fake news and very wrong allegation. We didn't use excessive force at all. We didn't even employ the whole of our strength in this protest, even when it turned violent. Dr. John.
It's a pity that the IGP is becoming maybe he's heading the propaganda wing of the Nigerian police force. He has told us a very fine story, but this fine story has no facts at all. Most of the time, when you are in a high office, you depend on reports from your loyalists. But what is on ground is different from what he is saying. So many people were shot dead. Yes. If they were not using live ammunition, was it rubber bullets that killed those people? Let him. An inspector general is the chief law officer of Nigeria, especially with respect to the police. And I expected him to gather enough information, get enough intel, so that he does not tell us that this storyline is warped. Really warped. Because if it is true that they did not use force, what of those they killed? Some people were killed in Kaduna, others were killed in Kano, others were killed in Niger. Was it a spirit that killed those people? So, Inspector General of Police, please, much as you are protecting your job, in other countries, by this time, the Inspector General should resign for allowing men of the police to use firearms on armless civilians. Of course, we're in Nigeria where anything goes.
According to reports, the protesters were unarmed. And from what we saw, even from the videos and all of that, even though they said that some thugs were paid to come disrupt the protests, and probably it became violent, the police have said that they had, violent on them, and some of their personnel are even still in critical conditions at the moment as we speak, according to him. But saying that from reports that we had, even hearing relatives of the people who were killed, and having the president come out to tell us that he condones with the families who lost their loved ones. So that brings up the question, who were the people who lost their loved ones, and what killed those people that died during the protest? So let's get your thoughts on this statement by the IGP.
Well, like you said, I don't know if the IGP is actually in this country or is somewhere outside this country, just trying to protect his job or something. It's pathetic that an Inspector General of Police will come on air to lie to Nigerians, insult the sensibility of Nigerians. You can imagine, just yesterday, the Nigerian army accepted, it's on Vanguard News, that protesters were protesting, and they had that the protest was about to go violent, and their men arrived, and there was a shot that killed a 16-year-old boy that was in his father's house. He was not even out protesting. The gunshot from the security personnel killed the... Now, an Inspector General will come to say they did not use live ammunition, and the Chief of Army Staff is actually apologizing to Nigerians, saying, look, the young one has been buried. We have sent our men to go and pay a visit to the family, to condone with them. We are sorry. I believe he should hide his face in shame now, seeing that the Nigerian army has come out, to at least to say, we are sorry we did this. As a matter of fact, the person that was involved has been arrested and is undergoing ABCD now. So it's a country
also
that...
had reports from Abuja from the very first day of the protest where a relative of one of the persons who died said his uncle, who was the victim now, was just driving past. He was not part of the protest, and then he got hit by a stray bullet from the security personnel, according to reports. Now, when I heard about the people, the cases of deaths on the second day of the protest here on the show, we talked about 17 people reportedly dead from the first day of the protest. And then after then, we really haven't seen so much. So it's beginning to feel like these people who died are not people, are not human beings. Like, you know, we just talk about it on the side like, oh, we lost this number of people during the protest, and we're not seeing so much being done.
Do we really care?
Do you understand? We're talking about lives, and I'm wondering why we treat it this, you know, with this kind of gloves that we're treating it with.
In Nigeria, it is expressly stated in the constitution that an average Nigerian has the freedom, you should enjoy the dignity of the human world person. But as you can see, for a good number of years, people no longer attach that importance to life. They believe that killing three is just a number. That is the level we are now. We are in a country where the ordinary Nigerian is not catered for. His welfare takes the back seat. On the contrary, it is the welfare of power holders that gains primacy in every arithmetic you can think about. So this is why I have always advocated for a review of our constitution. We need to review this constitution to reinforce those fundamental rights and values, universal values, to ensure that anybody in power cannot be more powerful than the people who put him there. Again, governors are emperors in their own enclave. The president is a generalissimo. It's like a maximum ruler on top. All these powers, the case of immunity and so on, should be whittled down a bit, so that even while you are in office, while the president is in office, certain matters can be profiled against him, even in court.
After the president's speech, he has told the protesters to put a stop to the protest, but the protest has continued. So before we wrap things up, let's get to what the protesters were expecting the president to say.
Well, the protesters actually were expecting Mr. President to say, oh, look, I understand your plight. I have seen it. I am also feeling it. We are in the same Nigeria. However, based on what is ongoing in the country now, the borders are open immediately, one. Two, fuel prices are coming down to, say, 300 naira, so that the cost of transportation, the cost of moving goods and other things, everything will come down. As for the electricity tariffs, we are bringing them down drastically. Okay, Nigerians are borrowing. Let us continue to subsidize these things until our economy gets back to where we are. These were some of the, at least, just these three things would have helped Nigerians.
Okay. Chief Lucky Man has spoken, absolutely. You know, I expect, by the time he ended the speech, I was so disappointed and frustrated. An empty speech, an empty address that promised nothing, that said nothing. I don't know if some of his media aides wrote that address for him.
It wasn't a recorded this thing.
I expected at least 4 pronouncements. The case of reducing the price of the pump price of petrol is number 1. Number 2, opening the borders, like you said.
Yes.
Then appealing to the victims of police brutality. Yes. Those who died during the protest. You see, that one would have calmed down the nerves of so many Nigerians. And they was okay, he has responded. And again, he will go as far as telling Nigeria that all other pending agreements with ASU, the Nigerian Medical Association, all will be ratified within 14 days. That would have made the magic, but they said nothing.
We appreciate you, Dr. John Idumange, for your time on the show today.
Beautiful.
And Chief
Atlantic
Lucky
blowout.
Chief
Blowout.
Lucky Man, thank you so much for your time on the show. We appreciate
Thank
you,
you
our
very
viewer,
much.
for being a part of this interesting conversation. But this is where we get to wrap things up.